Luna had nothing left. Bill had cut her off completely, no more access to the Spencer estate, no more trust, no more resources. Finn had looked her in the eyes and said the words she feared most. "You need help, Luna." "I don't love you. I never did." It broke something inside her, shattered what little clarity she had left. Alone in her apartment, staring at old photos, blurred memories, and headlines that branded her unstable and dangerous, Luna fell deeper into the one idea that hadn't left her since Kelly died. Steffi Forrester is the reason I'm suffering. She believed it. She repeated it like prayer. Steffi had poisoned Finn against her. Steffi had made her feel like an outsider. Steffi had everything: family, power, love, and Luna had nothing but rejection and shame. Her thoughts circled obsessively, her logic consumed by pain. And when the announcement for the Forrester Spring Collection launch appeared online, featuring Steffi front and center, radiant and unbothered, it became a trigger. Luna didn't just feel erased. She felt mocked. That night, she opened an old lockbox in her closet. Inside, the pistol. Not registered. Not traceable. A secret Sheila had once slipped to Poppy for protection in case old enemies came knocking. Poppy had forgotten it was there. Luna hadn't. She stashed the gun inside her oversized clutch. Sleek. Black. Just like the designer dresses she used to dream of wearing on the runway. She had no real plan. Just one purpose: confront Steffi. Make her feel what Luna had been feeling for months: fear, helplessness, vulnerability. Meanwhile, Remy had no idea he was part of anything dangerous. After their fallout weeks earlier, Luna had reappeared suddenly, calm, even grateful. "You were right," she told him. "I lost myself. But I'm trying to take control now. Trying to face things." She asked about gun safety, framed it as research for a short film she was writing, some fictional scene involving a stalker and a high-stakes hostage moment. She laughed as she described it. Remy, eager to rebuild trust and flattered she came to him, didn't think twice. He pulled out his old hunting app and walked her through basic mechanics. How to line up a shot. What affects trajectory. How panic throws off aim. He thought it was just conversation. Cathartic, even. But every word planted in Luna's mind became something far darker. She memorized it. Practiced it. Rehearsed. On the morning of the Forrester launch event, the press swarmed the fashion house. Paparazzi lined the entrance. Celebrities, influencers, and clients filled the first rows of the grand showroom. Ridge paced nervously backstage while Eric gave last-minute input on the designs. Thomas adjusted ties, fabrics, lighting. It was a perfect storm of chaos and anticipation. Steffi, as usual, stood at the center of it all, composed, confident, ready. Luna slipped in wearing a borrowed intern badge. She avoided eye contact, walked with purpose, and entered through the side-loading dock, weaving through racks of silk and sequins until she was behind the stage, where no one questioned an extra hand in all the rush. She watched Steffi through a curtain. Saw her laughing with Thomas, hugging her team, glowing. The gun was in her bag. Her fingers grazed it. Poppy was miles away, pacing in a panic. She had read Luna's journal the night before, half-finished pages, dark sketches, a list of what Steffi stole from me. She had called Luna's phone 30 times. No answer. Then she remembered the gun. Her heart dropped. With nowhere left to turn, she made a call she swore she never would. Sheila. Sheila didn't even flinch. "Where is she?" she asked. "Tell me exactly." Poppy's voice cracked. "I think she's at the Forrester launch. She took the gun. She's going to do something horrible." Sheila didn't hesitate. She was already in her car. Back at Forrester, The show had just begun. The lights dimmed. The music surged. Models strutted down the runway. Steffi stepped out with confidence, greeting the audience from the side of the stage. Just as applause rose, Luna moved forward. She didn't scream. She didn't wave the gun. She just walked up to Steffi, close enough to whisper. "You ruined me," she said. Steffi turned. Confused. "Luna?" Luna pulled the gun from her clutch. Gasps. Screams. Chaos erupted instantly. Security rushed forward, but hesitated. Too close, too fast, too risky. Steffi backed up slowly, her voice calm. "You don't want to do this." "Yes, I do," Luna whispered. "This ends with you. It always had to." And then Sheila. Bursting through the curtain, out of breath, uninvited, unannounced, and absolutely on time. "Luna, put it down," she barked. "Don't do it." Luna blinked, confused for a second. "Why do you care?" "Because I know what it feels like to be this broken," Sheila said, stepping closer. "And I know what happens next. You pull that trigger and everything ends. Not just for her, for you. Your life, your future, all of it. Gone." Steffi watched, frozen. One movement could trigger the unthinkable. Luna's hand trembled. "I have nothing left." "You have me," Sheila said. "And you have Poppy. And you have time to fix this. But not if you shoot her. You shoot her, and you become everything they said you were. Everything I once was." Luna broke. Her knees gave out. The gun hit the floor with a metallic clatter. Security rushed in, cuffing her before she could even process what had happened. She sobbed, face buried in her hands, screaming Poppy's name as they dragged her away. Steffi collapsed backstage, shaking. Finn, who had just arrived from the airport, ran to her, wrapping her in his arms. Sheila stood in the chaos, breathing hard, waiting for someone to speak. But no one did. Not at first. Then Ridge. Slowly, carefully. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "I just saved your daughter's life," Sheila said. No one responded. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was silence. Outside, Poppy arrived just in time to see Luna shoved into a police car. Her screams echoed. Poppy collapsed, sobbing into the pavement. Remy watched the news that night, pale, horrified. He realized every word he'd said, every instruction he gave Luna, had nearly become a blueprint for murder. At the station, Luna was booked again. No bail. This time, the charges were more severe. Attempted murder, firearm possession, trespassing, terroristic threat, and, beneath it all intent, the fallout was nuclear. Forrester clients dropped out. Media tore through the family's privacy. Sheila's sudden heroism made headlines, sparking speculation that she had changed, that she could be trusted. Bill watched it unfold from his office, glass in hand, wondering if pushing Luna away had saved her or broken her beyond repair. Finn held Steffi close every night, refusing to let her walk alone, refusing to leave her side. But the fear never left. The knowledge that darkness had once again stepped into their world, wearing the face of someone they once tried to love. And Luna, behind bars, still whispered Steffi's name. Not with hate, but with obsession. Carter Walton had never craved the spotlight. In a city where influence meant everything and power was flaunted like designer labels, Carter had always held himself to a different standard. He believed in integrity, in loyalty, in doing the right thing, even when it was hard. But none of that mattered the moment the photo dropped. One kiss. One night. One headline that tore through the internet like a firestorm. High-powered attorney Carter Walton caught locking lips with supermodel Zara Wynn in Beverly Hills. The photo was unmistakable. Carter's hands wrapped around Zara's waist, her lips pressed against his, both of them seemingly lost in the heat of the moment. There was no explanation, no context, just the image and the fallout. Within hours, gossip blogs exploded. The tabloids printed in all caps, "Hope for love lost." Spencer scandal. Zara and Carter heat up the night. By noon, fashion publications and major news outlets picked it up. The Forrester name was dragged into the mud, and so was Hope. She hadn't even opened her messages when reporters began lining up outside Forrester Creations, waiting for a reaction. Everyone wanted to know, was Hope Logan once again the betrayed woman? Had she been blindsided by the man she once called her safe harbor? Or worse, had she known and looked the other way? Hope didn't speak. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. Not publicly. Behind closed doors, she locked herself in her office, staring at the photo, trying to piece together what the truth could possibly be. Carter wasn't just anyone. He was the man she had trusted after years of heartbreak. After Liam's betrayals. After Thomas's manipulations. Carter had been calm, steady, loving. She thought she finally had something real. But now the world wanted answers, and she had none. Meanwhile, Carter was drowning. The moment he saw the image, he knew exactly where and when it had been taken 2 nights ago at a charity gala in West Hollywood. Zara had been there, radiant as always, draped in Valentino, flirting with every camera in the room. They had shared champagne, talked about her upcoming runway campaign for Forrester International. She had leaned in for a thank you hug, then kissed him. It lasted only seconds. Carter had pulled back, startled. He hadn't kissed her back, but the camera had captured just enough to turn a moment of confusion into a media earthquake. Zara, unbothered by the chaos, fed the storm. When asked about the kiss during an on-air appearance, she smirked and said, "Carter's a handsome man." I don't kiss and tell, but I will say, it wasn't one-sided. That lie spread like poison. Carter tried to reach Hope. Called, texted, showed up at her house. Nothing. She wouldn't see him. Brooke had stepped in immediately, urging Hope to cut ties. This is exactly what happens when you trust the wrong man. I warned you. You left Liam. You fell into Carter's arms too fast, and now look. He's using you. He's humiliating you. Ridge stayed quiet, but his disappointment was clear. Thomas was less subtle. He's always been too good to be true, he said. Maybe it's time you finally accept that none of them will ever be who you need them to be. Even Liam, ironically, showed up to offer his support. I'm sorry this happened, he told her. If you need anything for Beth or for you, I'm here. But Hope wasn't looking for sympathy. She was looking for the truth. Eventually, she agreed to meet Carter. They sat in her living room, surrounded by silence. No cameras. No press. Just them. Carter looked her in the eyes and spoke with raw honesty. I didn't kiss her, Hope. She kissed me. I didn't ask for it. I didn't want it. I shut it down the second it happened. Hope stared at him, her expression unreadable. But why were you with her? Why even give her the chance? It was business, he said. She's working with Forrester. She pulled me aside for a drink. I thought it was professional. And now it's everywhere, she said, barely above a whisper. Do you know what they're saying about me? About us? Yes, Carter said. And I don't care what they say. I only care what you believe. That was the line. The line that forced her to look inside herself and ask the question she had avoided all week. Did she still trust him? The next day, Forrester Creations held an emergency board meeting. PR disasters weren't uncommon, but this one was different. This one involved the Logan name. The same name that had rebuilt the fashion house after scandals, divorces, and tabloid wars. Hope's fashion line was tied directly to her image, strength, independence, morality. If she stood by Carter, some believed it would send the wrong message. If she dumped him publicly, it could salvage her brand, but it would make her yet another victim in a long line of messy breakups. Steffi, unsurprisingly, didn't hold back. "You have a brand to protect," she said in front of the board. "You can't be seen as weak. If you want to keep the line alive, you have to distance yourself." But Hope didn't answer right away. She left the room, stepped out onto the balcony, and let the wind tear through her thoughts. She remembered everything Carter had done for her, his patience, his support, the way he'd been there for Beth, the way he'd shown her what love could feel like without chaos. And she remembered that kiss, the one he gave her the night he told her she deserved better than scraps from a broken marriage. That kiss had changed everything. She made her decision that evening, during a live press conference arranged to address the scandal. Reporters gathered like wolves. Cameras rolled. Hope stood at the podium, calm and radiant. "I know what everyone wants me to say," she began. "You want me to denounce Carter. You want me to play the role of the woman scorned. You want me to continue a narrative that makes you feel better about love being disposable." She paused, looked into the cameras. "But I won't do that. Because Carter Walton is not the villain here. He didn't cheat. He didn't lie. He didn't betray me. He was ambushed by someone who thought she could use her fame to rewrite the truth. I stand with Carter. And I always will." Gasps. Murmurs. Flashbulbs. The room lit up with the crackle of headlines being born. Hope Logan defends lover in supermodel scandal. Logan line remains loyal. Love wins over image. Carter stood off to the side, stunned. Grateful. In love. Later that night, they met again. This time without words. Just arms around each other. Silence. Warmth. Trust. It wasn't over. The media storm would rage for weeks. Zara would keep spinning her story. Brooke would keep voicing her objections. Steffi would whisper doubts in dark corners. But none of that mattered anymore. Hope had chosen love over image, over fear, over control. She had chosen to believe in the man, not the rumor. And that choice changed everything.